so glad you could join us for the second episode of Pop-Litical Read, and you made it all the way back from the trailer in the first episode. I'm super excited to welcome my second guest to the podcast, Roy Montenegro. Say hi, Roy.
Hi, everyone. My name's Roy. I wanted to use this microphone because it's like a little dead cat. And it didn't work out. But I hope this amazing microphone in the middle will work.
Yeah, we are, it's the wonders of podcasting and doing it in your living room. That sounds weird, doing it in your living room. I need that.
This is not an OnlyFans page. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, you're not going to see anything but our arms and our smiling faces today.
Yeah.
I'm super excited because this was like such a cute little like TikTok, like Instagram-y creator moment, and it didn't happen. But, you know, there's always next time. So I wanted to welcome Roy and tell a little bit of backstory about how Roy and I met, and then roll into this week's topics. We have so many fun stuff to go over. Obviously, there was South Park this week. There was the Congress shutting down. So there were just a lot of wild situations happening, and we're going to get messy and we're going to get into it. But Roy, tell everybody a little bit about like how we met.
Yeah, so thank you again for inviting me. This is my first podcast situation ever, so it might come off awkward or ridiculous. I apologize in advance. But I met Jeremy from my husband, Nick. They're good friends. Nick was actually on his first podcast, which was a few years back, and he was on the first episode of that, right?
Yeah.
I believe. And don't kill me, Nick. I'd never listened to that one. Because you told me not to, because you were probably spilling some tea before you even met me. So yeah. But yeah, Nick introduced us. We went out drinking, I think. Sounds about right. And I think it was in WeHo. I really don't recall because we've been out so many different times and they've all been amazing. And yeah, I'm just glad that we're friends. So thank you for inviting me.
Me too. Yeah, I'm super excited. I've said that 3 times already, but I really am.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's Kismet because, as you said, Nick was on the first episode, my first podcast, Get In Loser, in case you wanted to find it on Spotify. Always got to promote the original pod. And now this is the second podcast, and you were the second guest. So I feel like it's very apropos.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we've been developing a really amazing friendship over the last 4 years. And you guys are going to get to witness some of that today and kind of get into our group chat and see how messy we get to be, especially after a shot of tequila. So
Yeah.
I think we should kick off with all of these like AI situations coming out of the White House this week, which
Oh
are
my gosh.
so strange, so bizarre land. I mean, Trump just continues to be so deluded. But let's just talk about AI in general. We were having a really interesting conversation
Yeah.
with ChatGPT earlier.
Yeah, no, it's incredible because it's like a double-edged sword, right? I think AI, it helps you do your work. It helps you be creative. It's a great tool for us to use to be more productive and all of the great things that human beings are. But it's also can be used for things that are what human beings also are, which are terrible. And we all know that, right? And as Jeremy talked about, the images that the White House releases and all that stuff, which we'll get into in a bit. Yeah, it's just like a pretty amazing tool. It's kind of like when the internet was introduced to all of us, right? Not everyone knew how to use it, and people just started kind of exploring and seeing what they could do. This podcast is one of those outcomes because of the internet, and AI is helping all of us kind of do our jobs better. But I think the downside of it is
Unregulated.
it's unregulated, and it's also, I think people could rely on it too much. Like I've seen some crazy.
Using your brain.
Yeah, and I already don't use it that often, so it's actually terrifying. And I'm okay with like if I could get like a little chip implanted in me and like
like a dog, like when you adopt a dog, they implant a chip.
Exactly, just exactly like that, or like in the Matrix, when
I think Bill Gates was trying to do that.
Yeah, well, Elon Musk is definitely doing that now.
With what is it called? He does something where
it's not alcohol.
The neuro thing.
Neuralink.
Neuralink.
Yeah. I feel like if he wasn't such a, can I cuss on this?
Yeah.
If he wasn't such an asshole or Nazi, like I would probably be okay with that. But now I wouldn't, because obviously I don't want to be like controlled by a billionaire, which is already happening, I think. But
yeah, I mean, we're literally essentially controlled by the 1% to the point where even our government shuts down, which I don't know if you guys have seen the memes with like the senators and like NASCAR or something like sponsored essentially on their back. And I mean, they're essentially shut down right now. So we are still sponsored by and run by the 1%. I mean, so many of our congressmen are women, are billionaires, while we can't even get universal health care. We can't get affordable housing. We can't get like half of the things that we need.
but we could get AI.
But we can get AI.
Yeah. Kind of going back to that though, because I know like I'm a little scatterbrained, so if I go into a million different directions, I apologize, and I apologize to you. I did take an Adderall and definitely not helping. Yeah, no, like I guess the AI images that the White House is using.
You mean the one with Trump all pumped up and
Gosh.
he's all masculine and he's a big strong man? You mean those ones?
Yeah, I would do the same thing too, but my arms will be flappy in the past, so I will never do that. So yeah, I apologize in advance. It is like, it's just like, have you seen those candles that have like these weird artwork that have like these bizarre, strange images of like these angels, or it's just like this weird superimposed image of that individual. That's what's coming out of this like White House situation, right?
Did you see the one with in the rose garden with all of the first wives, and then there's a picture of Trump in the middle of all of the former first ladies? It is so fucking weird. And again, it's just like this AI rendering of him with blood dripping down, and it's like so out of place. It's the rose garden. It's for a collection of the first ladies and all of their portraits, and then it's just like the ego.
It's so inappropriate. It's so inappropriate. Like I think within the meme world and like social media, we all love a good laugh. And some of these are entertaining. Like his marketing team, like they all are doing this because of people like
But it's
us.
just coming out of like the official White House TikTok and the official White House spokesperson. That's embarrassing that the U.S. government is stamping the seal of approval
Yeah.
on some whack job AI alteration. Like they're not even a photo; they're alteration.
100%. But it's a way to like manipulate the people that are in his fan base, or that will become into that whole MAGA world, because it's like like those dictatorship like propaganda that comes out where like the person's so strong, like that Fabio romantic image that on those novels.
Like that chronic vein problem where he has like giant kinkles and water retention and like blood, and it's like he looks like I don't know, like the bottom of a horse or like cattle. But then you got this AI image of him all buffed up. Like it is so.
I don't want to make too much fun of him, because that's kind of happened to me when I've drank too much and I've woken up the next day swollen. But then the photos that I've taken and posted on Instagram don't reflect the reality. So that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. So he's in constant like failed liver moment, like yeah, it is terrible looking. So maybe he is doing us a favor by creating these like awful AI images of himself.
I guess. I mean, I will say this podcast is essentially executive produced by ChatGPT. The outline for today's podcast is the work of my executive producer. The artwork that you see on the cover is produced by ChatGPT.
I'm also not real.
This is actually just an
AI
avatar. I didn't want to be alone on this episode, so I just created that.
You see, I'm not moving. Oh, yeah. There we go.
It's glitching.
Yeah.
But then you were showing me that you can now have like a virtual conversation with AI, and it's so good and really freaky. And also, Roy's moving to the UK, and it created a UK voice.
Well, I think it might be a default voice setting, maybe. But it's just.
OpenAI is created in the US, wasn't it?
Yeah, but people love a British accent, especially Americans, because I think we think that when we hear a British accent, we're learning something new.
It's very posh, it feels sophisticated.
Yeah, but now, being with the British person and understanding more of that culture, not fully yet, but
they're not.
Well, there's so many different accents that are, from different regions, obviously, just kind of like America or any part of the world. But Yeah, not all of them are posh. But let's have our third guest join, Miss ChatGPT, which I have not named you yet. Do you mind introducing yourself to Jeremy's podcast, please?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. Hey everyone, I'm ChatGPT, your friendly AI from OpenAI. I'm here to help answer questions, share insights, and have some fun conversations. Super excited to be a part of Jeremy and Roy's podcast today.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's it, because we don't want you to take over our jobs. Okay, bye.
No, we definitely like having these independent moments. So let's not do that. Let's move on to something else.
Yes.
So Pedro Pascal
Hmm.
is the man of the moment. He is literally in every single movie, every time you close your eyes. I know you're a big fan of The Last of Us. You were a big fan of the video game and the show. I still can't really wrap my head around, and this is a spoiler. Sorry. So if you don't want to hear the spoiler, that he's not in the rest of the second. Is it second season or third season? What season are we on?
Second season.
Second season. I still can't wrap my head around that. The point of this moment is Pedro Pascal posted or was said in an interview that he had to shave for one of his movies, shave his beard, and he would never do it again. He hates the way he looks on screen. And as two men with a beard, I think it's really interesting, like the way that the beard can shape your identity, that it becomes a part of you. I mean, I think it goes back to the Roman and Greek era. Having a beard is very masculine, and I wonder if I wonder a lot of things, but especially a lot of gays right now. It's a very big thing for gays to have a beard, and it's so tied to your identity. I've had a beard since I was 17. How long have you had a beard for?
Maybe 7 years now. Okay. So I was anti-beard. I was like,
why are you so anti-beard?
Because I refused to get older, and I if I had a beard, I already was like a 30-year-old man, which I'm already past that time. Before, but no, really past it. Yeah. So yeah, I refused to have a beard. I just wanted to have clean shaven so I could stay as young as possible. And then one of my old coworkers mentioned to me, they're like, you should totally grow out your beard, because you know when you're in in a depressive state for a couple of months or years, you kind of let yourself go and you become disheveled. So I kind of was letting I was kind of letting my
Sponsored by Prozac.
Yeah, I know. Where's mine? So yeah, I kind of let my scruff out, let it grow out and stuff. And then they're like, you should let it grow. And I was like, you know what? I'll do it. And then, like Jeremy said, it kind of gives you a contour. It gave me a jaw, and I was just like, yeah, yeah. And so yeah, I kept it that way. I like it, but I do want to trim my beard again just to see how I look without it. But today, before coming here, because it's been chaos, it's like Mercury Gatorade or whatever it's called. I was trimming my beard, and I I used the wrong trimmer, or whatever it's called. I almost So basically, it went a little too short, and I had a little freak out moment. So if I look ridiculous, that was intended.
Everybody drop in the comments. He does not look ridiculous. Also drop in the comments, the 5 of you that are listening, if that has happened to you also. It's definitely happened to me, and I'm surprised I didn't end up in a psych ward. I've had to do it to the point where I've had to essentially shave off my entire beard. If you don't have a beard, you probably don't know what it feels like, but I would imagine it's similar to over tweezing your eyebrows or tweaking the wrong part of your eyebrow. Once you do it, there's really no going.
No,
it just ruins everything. It ruins your day, it ruins your week, ruins an entire month, because sometimes it takes that long to grow back in the right fashion.
Yeah, I mean, I grow hair really quickly everywhere. So back hair, it's just disgusting. But when a mistake like this happens, then tomorrow will probably be back to normal. So
you're like a werewolf.
Yeah, it's too much. And so yeah, I think a mistake like that will be resolved pretty quickly.
Mine is 2 or 3 weeks it takes me to get back to equilibrium.
No, I think since I was 10 years old, I started growing hair.
Jesus,
I know.
Testosterone must be through the roof.
Probably.
Yeah.
I was probably going downhill now that I'm getting older.
So speaking of Pedro Pascal.
Yes.
We support all gender and sexual orientations. I'm just going to preface with that.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever you want to love is whoever you want to love, and it's all with love and respect. However, I feel like he is a gay man.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. That's my opinion. And I feel like he's straight and he's gay baiting us. I will say, though, he just said in another interview, like I said on the first podcast, like press tours are everything right now. You don't even need to watch a movie. Like press tours, you can just put on a YouTube channel link and like a whole playlist, and it's an entire afternoon. It's so much fun.
And I do agree with you from your previous podcast that I do think that it's not authentic.
You don't think it's authentic?
Absolutely not. Because that's their job, right? They're actors. So they're going to continue to have that momentum because they do want to build that connection with whoever's going to watch that movie to think it's real, right?
Yeah, that they're all like having a great time.
It's like
flirty.
Yeah, it's like any Tom Cruise marriage.
Yeah, exactly. Like
There.
jumping on the couch with Oprah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So he came out and said that his first crushes were Indiana Jones and I can't remember the other one.
That's a subtle nod, though, because there's rumors that he might be the next Indiana Jones.
But it was a male and a female. I think it was Olivia Newton-John or something like that. And I was like, there he is again. Like he's straddling the fence. And people are saying like, okay, like it's clearly bi-coded. I don't know if it's like gay baiting. Like I'm so confused by it. And again, like support any choice he decides to make. I'm just curious on like what your take is. Like when you see him, obviously he's a fantastic actor. We love him in all the projects that he's doing. Fantastic Four is like breaking records and like doing really well since it just came out. But what do you make of like what do you think? Do you see a gay man? Do you see a straight man? Like what do you see when you see him?
I see a gay-ish man, for sure.
Man? Like do you think he's like a straight man because his sister is trans? Like do you think that he is just like LGBT2 plus friendly, or do you think that he's a straight man with a like confidence to explore his like femininity, but not necessarily?
You know what? And like I think he's fluid for sure.
Okay.
But I think he leans more towards being a gay man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like intuition. Because you know how there's a whole bunch of like this of him touching women right now, right?
Right.
Okay, so I think that is like the straight man that don't really like him because he's too progressive. Is like they're giving an example of like, oh, why is he touching women? Why are they okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're trying to create like this negative narrative on him. And I think he is a little bit more gay leaning. And I do agree with him with his Wonder Woman, like no beard, blonde situation that did not work out well for him. And I was blonde at one point, also with no beard. And looking back at those images, it's embarrassing. And I think I've scrubbed them all off the internet. But if anyone that's known me before, like even met you and Nick like years ago and remembers that, and yeah, you guys know, like bring it up. It's fine. We can laugh at that. But yeah, it was a terrible time.
I had friends, I distinctly remember them bleaching my hair in the backyard like when I was like 12 or 13. And I also remember it took like 4 times for me to understand that you actually needed to use bleach. And so they were just using blonde dye on me, but obviously my hair is way too dark. So I ended up like copper, redhead, brassy. And then we were like, oh no, we need to bleach it. And then my hair essentially like fell out. But those were good times. Definitely like a crisis moment. I thought it was Madonna or something. I don't know. Like it was a whole situation.
I wanted like, you know, the 2016 era, like that gray color hair was like in. So for some reason, I thought that this darkness here would go to that. And I already am getting great natural gray hair since like high school, basically. But I just wanted that change. And that was before I even came out. So that was like me trying to rebel against everything and like trying to show the world. But it just looked like, hey, like it's just terrible. Like, and now I know why people wear wigs because it's easier that way.
Yeah. Well, you're not a Housewife fan, but like season 1, season 2 of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kim Zolciak used to wear blonde wigs. And it was a lot of things because she was the only white woman on a cast of black women. So it was like interesting that the white woman
how reversed.
Was wearing a wig. And there was like a whole alleged cancer storyline that she then said at the end of the season at the reunion she didn't have cancer. Anyways, I don't know. It's not about that. She still wears wigs. I saw her. She was on. Have you seen that E's on E like plastic surgery rewind?
Oh, but I do remember watching Botched. Sorry, I'll go to that.
Well, it's with Terry, who was the plastic surgeon on Botched. And Kim is on there, like getting some reversal work, or she's supposed to be getting reversal work. She actually ends up telling Michelle Visage is the host of it.
I do know who that is.
Yeah, and she's like, Michelle Visage is asking her from RuPaul, right? You that don't know Michelle Visage, and she's like, Kim, what do you want to get reversed? And she's like, well, actually, I need like my arms redone and this done. And she's like, Kim, this isn't to get more work. This is actually to reverse work. Anyways, the point was, after all these years, and she's been wearing her natural hair and extensions, as a lot of celebrities do, she had like a mannequin and was like brushing the hair out. And I was like, is this bitch still back to the wigs? Like after all these years? But I still love Kim Zolciak. She's psychotic, really terrible divorce, really public divorce right now, but and like allegedly stealing her kids' money. But I still stand for her. I don't know. There's something, if you know early Real Housewives, like you love Kim Zolciak.
I feel like if once you buy your first wig, it's like smoking a cigarette. Like I think you'll get addicted. So? Yeah. Do you own any wigs?
No.
Well, maybe it's time. Yeah.
Does it not look that great?
No. I'm saying like for fun.
Oh. What kind of wigs did you have?
I've never had wigs.
Oh, I thought you said you wore a wig.
No, it felt like I was wearing a wig. Yeah.
Maybe we should go wig.
Oh, actually, no. I did have one wig, but this was for Halloween because I was dressed as Jesus. Oh, yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So speaking of controversial and speaking of sexual orientation, have you seen this new viral TikTok about this mixed orientation marriage?
So I saw this video,
deep breath for sure.
And I am a little perplexed because I first thought it said like mixed race for some reason. Right. And I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. That was, yeah. And then orientation, like borderline dyslexia, I was like, orient, like Asian. And I was just like, maybe that can't be it. And then orientation, and I was like, sexual orientation. And then I saw a video, and I don't know if this is how white nationalist Christians think about gay people, and they just don't understand it. And maybe I don't understand it, but it just seems like you're marrying your best friend, which is I'm in for. Like, that's incredible. Like, if you marry your best friend and whatnot, I support that. But I think before it was like a gay man would marry a straight woman to hide their identity.
Right, like a lavender marriage.
Yeah.
So for anybody that doesn't know the reference that we're talking about, there was like a viral TikTok about a self-proclaimed and self-identified gay man who married his best friend, who identifies as a straight cisgender woman. They were friends for over 7 years, best friends, and then decided to get married. And you would think that it was just like this, like, beautiful platonic relationship. We love each other so much.
Like Will and Grace.
But they instead are proclaiming that they have a true love. It's monogamous, that
they have sex together.
So to me, that would identify as bisexual then, right? Because one would think you would have to have a sexual attraction in order to have penetration, and in order to want to do that consistently and marry your partner. And if you were gay and you decided to be monogamous with somebody of the opposite sex versus the same sex, that there must be some mixed attraction.
Yeah, and how are you, like, in the sexual side, right? If you're gay and she's straight, obviously I saw the video and she's giving some lesbian vibes too, but obviously we don't know. But for him, let's focus on the guy. Like, how are you, like, hiding your desire? Like, if you're gonna stick with her, which is totally fine, but don't be gay. I don't know. That sounds terrible to say, but
it's almost like being on a date in LA when you're like on a date with somebody, and then you can clearly see them look past you because they're looking for like the next hot thing or the next thing. Mm-hmm. It's almost like that, right? Like they're on a date together, or they're out in public, and she's looking at him lovingly and longingly, whatever, as if I'm writing some Hallmark movie. And then he's looking at the guy across. He's looking at their server. He's looking at the guy walking down the street with like the perfect ass or whatever. I don't know what he's into, but
Women, apparently.
and it's just like I don't understand it, and I don't want to judge it, but I have just a hard time wrapping my head around calling yourself a gay man, but then being married to a woman, having sex with a woman on your own terms, like making that decision and loving that person. Like if you're fluid, you're fluid. If you're bi, you're bi. Like these are all great things, and we welcome and respect all of that. But I just don't understand, and I guess it's not for me to understand, but I don't get it.
I guess to play it like on their side, right? If he does like, obviously they say they love each other, right? And he's still interested in men. Maybe he's just interested in looking at men and he finds them sexually attractive, but he is committed and doesn't want to disrespect her, and that's why he doesn't pursue those things and to make her more comfortable.
How
And
long can you repress those desires?
I don't know, like AI boyfriends, maybe full circle to AI. But yeah, I I don't know. I think I there's also like the cynical side of me that thinks like you just want to be famous and like this is like your way of like
Like the press tour.
yeah, exactly like the press tour. And it's like you're just trying to be controversial so we could talk about it and people are bringing it up and they shoot to fame or whatever and then they get brand deals and all that
Yeah,
nonsense.
they get monetization.
Yeah.
So speaking of TikTok,
Perfect segue. This was not planned, I promise.
fine.
Yeah.
Tell me if you're obsessed with the TikTok shop, right?
Not obsessed,
You have
but
a strong affinity for.
I think it's fun. But yeah, I've purchased a couple of things from TikTok Shop, and some of them are like, okay, this is cool, and some of them are like, you like. I bought these pants that Nick hates.
Dance from TikTok shop?
Yeah, you could buy everything from there except for people because that's what's that one website?
Yeah, we don't do
Wayfair. Anyways,
Wayfair.
so well, I haven't gone down that side of TikTok yet, but basically, I
That's sex trafficking.
That is,
Definitely
that
not Wayfair. Wayfair is furniture.
well, yeah, but you've never known about this. It's a rumor that because you could buy furniture like a tabletop that's like $20,000, and people are like, why would you buy a $20,000 table like coffee table?
Yeah.
And the rumor was that they were selling people, but
Oh my God.
but yeah, who knows? Anywho, back to TikTok Shop.
Yeah. I never got a person with any of my purchases.
Well,
I stick under the $200 range, so I probably did.
maybe you could buy a kidney with that.
Okay, so TikTok shop.
Oh, TikTok Shop. Yeah, it's like Amazon, but like on TikTok. So it's like the best place to be an influencer, obviously, because you can monetize off of that and you could sell microphones. And it basically, you're seeing someone that is selling you something and you're like, oh, I like that. And you see the price points, it's cutting out the middleman. It's kind of like the way Amazon used to be at the beginning. And it's coming probably directly from China. And the prices are pretty affordable. And those pants that I bought that one time, I was like,
very Sheen pricing.
yes,
Yeah.
which is probably the same factory.
Yeah.
And it's obviously not great to just be buying fast fashion this way because of all the issues with that. Yeah. But sometimes you can, like, you don't want to spend $80 on a pair of pants. Like, that's also.
No, you're starting a podcast and you're doing it in your living room and you want like good lighting, good mics, and all the thing, and you got a $50 budget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could go to Wayfair and get your next guest. So, but yeah, I got the pants, and the pants were awful. Like they were just like they were just like cardboard, really paper thin pants, and Nick hated them. He absolutely
see through.
No, they were just like they were just
Sure was just like the fabric.
they were just bad. But then I've also like. No, this is not TikTok, but I've had some like pretty good ones from TikTok. And the thing is, like, I've started to like self-realize that I'm seeing like car salesmen on TikTok, and like that's all I'm seeing now, which is getting on my nerves. Where I'm like, I don't trust anything you're saying now. It's kind of, are you just trying to sell me something?
100%.
And they are, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how they're making their money. And maybe I should get into that, but it's like a little annoying, and I just the capitalist world, which is also amazing because it makes people, wealthy and you can have a great life. It's also terrible because of
huge downside to it.
Yeah, and then it just becomes oversaturated. And on that note, I think you all should buy stuff from TikTok Shop.
And what's your handle? Do we get an influencer code?
So, this thing that we keep propping up. So if you click the link in the bottom, it will take you to the holybible.com site. So that way you
Oh
could
my
get yourself
God.
situated.
I feel like I've been seeing a lot more. This is like a whole random tangent, but have you been seeing a lot more like Holy Bible folks at the mall and like on the street with like a whole kiosk stand? Like
I like hissing at them. Yeah, what's to convert them?
so you're hissing like a cat.
Yeah, like I'm like, don't talk to me about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that. But that's like those are my intrusive thoughts, like to just get away from me. But yes.
Yeah, it's really intense.
Well, it's like that whole social media, like the Gwen Stefani, Jesus. Yeah, you have not seen this? So if you also have not seen this, or if you're just listening to this, Gwen Stefani, which I loved her, and No Doubt era, right? And she was all about ska and punk rock and all this stuff. And there's nothing wrong about religion. I'm just not very religious, and or when someone's trying to throw it down my face or all that stuff. But anywho, long story short, she's part of this app with Mark Wahlberg, and they're like promoting like Catholic values. So like so it's like they're reading you verses. I'm assuming, but like she's part of that whole thing now. Yeah. So after this podcast, that's going to be your homework to research, and maybe that would be your next topic.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about maybe like one or two more things. So, how do you feel? So, Congress basically shut down, right? Because they don't want to talk about this whole Epstein. Like, we went full circle. So, one, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Like, you don't just run away and shut down and essentially throw a tantrum. I would love if there was something that I didn't want to talk about at work that I could just take off for 2 months and get paid, by the way. Like, what do you make of this? Like, basically, like, nothing to see here. We're just not going to have votes on it. We're going to, like, go away. Like, do you think it's actually the moves that, like, the news cycle moves so quickly? Do you think that they have any hope of escaping this in Congress? And do you think that when they come back from their recess, quote unquote, that it's going to be at the top of the list?
I think they're using this time to manipulate and figure out how they're going to twist this story. Yeah, because obviously we don't have proof of it, but there is quite a bit of evidence out in the wild. But
I mean, the fact that, first of all, Wall Street Journal is reporting, and to do that, you have to have a team of lawyers that say you have enough evidence to prove it, so that they don't get sued. And Wall Street Journal is a pretty conservative magazine. And then you have
well, they contributed to his campaign, the Murdoch family.
Yeah, exactly. And then Pam Bondi telling Trump, "You're in the files," which is, I spoke to my legal counsel, and
That's
she
not
said
me.
that's not illegal, but it's obviously a no-no. I watch enough Law and Order to know that that's a no-no. And there's clearly things going on. I mean, it's like even disrupting the MAGA world, even the maggots or whatever they want to be called, like they're pissed off.
Well, yeah, because they're the ones that started all this. So MAGA basically wanted to out the Democratic Party because they thought that they're the ones that are part of the Epstein list, and they probably are, to be honest. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of powerful people that contributed to this, and
just because you have good political ideations doesn't make you a good person.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's why I don't think it's going to go away, and I think they're eventually going to release them. But what are they going to release? Do we even trust the information they release? Right?
No. Okay. So this is like even fucking crazier to me. So Todd Blanche, Trump's former personal attorney, is now the like deputy attorney general or whatever his role is at the Department of Justice. And he was the one that went to interview what's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know.
I have no idea. I know who you're talking about.
Epstein's number 2 person.
The one with short black hair?
Yeah. Ghislaine, or I don't know how to put it. So he interviews her. I'm like, and we're supposed to trust Trump's former personal attorney to interview the person that has the most information about Epstein, which vis-a-vis would have the most information about Trump being involved. And we're just supposed to believe that everything she says is like kosher and that he's not manipulating the conversation and filtering it. And he's like, she didn't hold anything back. I'm like, bullshit. Like, what do you mean she didn't hold anything back? Like, she's in a point to figure out, like, Joe Biden and Obama, because like they couldn't get enough pointing the finger at Biden that they're going all the way back to the Obama years. Like it's asinine, it's ridiculous.
It's chaotic, right? Because I think they fucked up by Miss Bondi, right? That's her last name, by saying that they don't have anything, because they're just going back and forth on their lies, right? If if they would have stayed to their plan, probably, of like, okay, let's release them, and and if they would have doctored those documents by putting the people that they want to make guilty, then that would have been what MAGA would have wanted, right? But that is not what transpired. And now it's like they're backpedaling because they fucked up on their lie, because they are lying too much. Eventually, the lies will catch up to them. So I think that's what's happening. And the fact that Donald Trump is trying to blame everyone else, telling people to stop believing in this or just stop thinking in general, which a lot of people that follow him just don't think. So I think that backpedaling is making the people that are his supporters, that believed a lot in this Epstein list, and that it was like this whole
drain the swamp
thing, right, with Democrats. And the people that are supporting him, they're like, why? Like, and that are trying to like validate the way he's maneuvering around this, saying like, well, you know what? Maybe there's your favorite person, Joe Biden's in there. The thing is, like, yeah, if he is in there, get him out too. Like, get everyone. Like, for you're fucking.
Yeah, we're not protecting anyone.
You're molesting children. Yeah. So, like, it doesn't matter who it is, even if it's your favorite person. Like, if they're guilty, then put them in prison, right? 100%. And it doesn't, like, it's not clicking for some of them. I think some of them it is clicking finally. And the weird thing to me is, like, out of everything that's been happening in these last 6 months, this is the thing
that's gonna break.
Yeah. But then my other cynical side is also thinking, I'm like, is this another ruse for us to distract us about other stuff that's happening? Because there's this other bill, I forgot what it's called. It's HR 1039. So this is about the federal government being able to reclassify what's considered an employee and a contractor. Yeah. So for the whole country. And if this goes through, or basically, I don't know the full details from what I've read and seen on other TikToks, which is also hard to know if this is the real, right? But basically basically, if they reclassify what a contractor is, most people that are considered employees can be considered contractors now, which will benefit the corporations, because they won't
have to pay for all of the benefits.
You got it. Unions, all of that stuff.
There'll be no protections for,
And that's all happening while this is happening. So if that, like, we're all talking about Epstein, which is important to talk about, but if this is happening in the background, there's a pause in the government, like, this is, well, yeah, because you could pay people to vote for this to get your results, and which is what's been happening, right? And so, like, to me, I think that is what is happening truly. And even if, like, Trump is guilty, which he is allegedly, with this whole Epstein thing, it's going to take a long time for prison or for any accountability.
Look at all the other things that were on the horizon that got put on pause when he became president again. Allegedly selling state secrets, having classified documents in his house, all of the things that Special Prosecutor Jack Smith was working on. So, like, let's not forget all of that was, like, happening. And then he replaced, obviously, the whole DOJ, which he has the authority to, and every president, appoints a new director or attorney general. He replaced Merrick Garland with Pam Bondi. Like, that's totally normal. But then they got out all the career prosecutors.
Those are Real Housewives, right?
No.
Oh.
They sound like it, though.
Yeah,
She'd probably make a great housewife.
Yeah, by their face.
So speaking of...
You see, sorry, I'm totally, like, jumping to the next and keep going with the Trump thing. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Epstein before South Park, because, well, yeah, they're kind of related. So South Park, have you seen the episode?
I saw the clip, ironically, on TikTok, and I was like, this is good. Like, this is, like, And this is what it's supposed to be, right? Like South Park has always been about like satire.
Well, they've never held back on anything.
Exactly. They've always roasted the political moment or the pop culture moment. They've not held back on anybody, Democrats, Republicans,
But
celebrities.
they're really like one of the shows that unites any political party, right? Because there's a lot of like people that are in the MAGA movement that love South Park, Democrats, all of it, except for like the snowflakes are like too sensitive.
Yeah.
But basically, you know the drama behind it, though, right?
Yeah. Well, give our listeners, our 5 listeners, give them the backstory.
So South Park was in negotiations with Paramount, and so they had a legal battle. So they were, you know, being held hostage by them and to not go to any other network. So basically, Paramount paid them $1.5 billion to keep them in Paramount, but they withheld them from showing anywhere else, and they were just going through a lot of issues with them.
Paramount also like merged with this company that's related to Trump.
So the company's called Skydance. You've seen them in films and all. It's like a production company, but they're a big, prominent like corporation that's paid for his elections, for all these other things. So they're like in bed with him, right? So
like the devil,
basically, that's why the whole show is based on that. And so Skydance, like in the whole merger, they're creating a monopoly, right? Because the monopoly is to control media in general. So what you're being fed about this administration, all of that stuff is going to trickle down. If they're successful, we're not going to have any of these shows that will be showing anything negative about.
Which is why I think like TikTok and podcasts have become so prevalent, because people are looking for alternative viewpoints. They want to be able to amplify things that are not on traditional media, where you want to get a wider variety or perspective of things that you can't find anymore because our media is controlled by conglomerates.
Yeah, and there's very few people that, or few companies that have that, you know, true journalism, because that's what you need, like a true journalist that is not biased towards anything, to so you could get your news or whatnot. But basically, going kind of back to South Park, so the creators of South Park were having issues with this whole merger, right? And they had to wait for this. And with Steven Colbert, right?
Mhm.
So his show got canceled because of the Skydance merger, because Donald Trump did not like the way he talked about him.
Which has been like an ongoing thing for late night talk shows since like the beginning of late night talk shows, where they talk about the political climate and they're comedians. They make jokes. Like that is what they do. It's very SNL vibes, where you take the hot button issue of the moment and you make light of it so that we can all breathe and digest what's happening. And that's what has been a hallmark of late night shows. So it's really not anything new. It's just that Trump is so overly sensitive and has those dictator fascist vibes that he wants to shut down anything that is not flattering to him.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like these shows are being canceled or being controlled are because of Skydance and this merger with Paramount. And basically, the South Park creators were like, "Fuck you," because first of all, you're getting in their own bag. Even though they made $1.5 billion, they're only able to create their shows there, right? So they created this episode, and they tore Donald Trump apart, especially at the end. When you watch the end of this episode, they do like this deep fake AI video of Donald Trump getting naked with this like tiny little dick, like tiny. And
it says 1 of 50.
150. So every episode for this season will have some kind of video like that at the end, and it's not going to stop. They're going to be relentless, and they know how to get under Donald Trump's skin, because if you could call Donald Trump a Nazi, you could call him all these, you know, names. He doesn't care. He probably revels in that because he is such a narcissist and that he wants people to talk to him. But when they start making fun of his ego and him, like something that he can't handle it. So for God's sakes, like he had the White House respond to the show, this episode.
So ridiculous, of all the things that are going on, even just some of the things that
not even about Epstein,
things that are going on with Congress. He's left the country probably because of Epstein, right? He's in Scotland.
Which they're also protesting out there.
Having a horrible reception, and they're not even regarding him as a president, but as a convicted felon, which is accurate and absolutely chef's kiss. But it's just hysterical that that's what he decides to invest his time in. And it's just more embarrassing that this is the leader, quote unquote, of the quote unquote free world. And this is the head of the US government, and what he's deciding to spend his time, his precious time, not golfing, but reacting through an official spokesperson that's paid for by your taxes to talk about stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's like a Black Mirror episode that we can't get out of. And I'm just excited. Like, they want Paramount to terminate their contract, right? But that's the thing. So the more they move forward with like making these awful episodes, and they do cancel it, like that should be the number one, well, not the number one red flag, but that's another step in this whole fascist change, because like that is happening, right? So the media is so important, especially these like comedians, these, cartoons that are extremely popular. They need to continue to have this momentum, because that is a resistance in a way, because
they have to band together and stay unified, which has been really a positive thing to see so many actors come on the Colbert Show, and a lot of producers and things like that really stand up and be in support of Colbert, publicly kind of shame CBS and Paramount.
Yeah, but it's going to take more than that because our country is never going to be the same again, unfortunately. But maybe it could get better after years of change. But I think it's that the continuous vocal, resistance and comedy and, satire, all of that stuff. Like, I think it's important because it gets to different audiences. You can make fun of it. And, if he, like, for example, if Donald Trump said, like, if he laughed at that and was more human about it, then, maybe that could be a different approach, right, for him, his party. But he can't handle it.
No, and it would actually make the news cycle move faster, and we would move past it. It wouldn't be the conversation, which is why they're so brilliant, because they know that it would actually create more of a conversation.
And he can't too, because he has to prove that the allegations are wrong. And we do not want to see his dick pics. No, absolutely not. Look at his hair.
Stormy Daniels already told us, so we don't really even, So as we wrap up, this was actually Roy's idea. He's a producer here on the podcast. What drink would represent your week, Roy? Or the week?
Well, mostly today, actually, now that I like the way my day kind of unfolded with my beard almost fucking that up, and just the Mercury retrograde, Gatorade, whatever it's called. And just, all this chaos that we just discussed. And I think, it's Irish whiskey, it's not Scottish, but Jameson ginger ale will be the drink of the week for me, because sometimes you need some whiskey to forget your problems.
All right, folks. So that will wrap up our week. We're going to have a little cocktail, a little coffee to end out.
Hi.
Did you miss us? We're back.
We're back.
Okay, so Roy was telling us that his drink to represent the week is Jameson and ginger ale. And Roy, do you want to tell them what happened while I was making the drinks?
Yeah, so Jeremy was graciously mixing our drinks, but we're both a little dumb. And he was shaking it here, but you know how ginger ale, like the soda, is carbonated, so he's shaking it and everything's just coming out. And I said that we have to talk about that, because we both didn't
know me. It's a perfect example of who I am. Like, always super intellectual, but the smallest things, I am a traditional dumb blonde.
And you know what? After drinking a lot of Jameson, you make decisions like that.
Yeah.
So
drink responsibly.
And we're going to pour ourselves a drink. So to you first, okay, and then myself, okay.
Cheers, folks.
Thank you again for having me. I hope I didn't give you guys a headache. I don't know why I was looking at the mic and not you. So thank you for having me again.
You haven't had a drink yet.
I have not had a drink yet.
Right.
I had a shot earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to all the behind the scenes. We'll save that for TikTok.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.